The origin of biological viruses is still difficult to verify so far, but we can infer that this is a life phenomenon that has evolved for a long time and is still evolving. The origin of computer viruses is still controversial, but most people think that computer viruses are created by those called cyberpunks. Just like the Morris worm virus programmed by Robert Morris Jr., a 23-year-old graduate student at Cornell University. After sneaking into the computer network IntelNet, it started running at 5 a.m. on a certain day. By 5 p.m. on the same day, due to the repeated reproduction of the virus program, it occupied a large amount of memory and physical storage space of the computer network, thus causing more than 6,200 various types of computers on the network to crash. The entire IntelNet network was paralyzed and had to be shut down, resulting in direct economic losses of up to millions of dollars. Later, on November 13, 1989, the Black Friday virus suddenly broke out after a long period of latency and brought disaster to hundreds of thousands of microcomputers running DOS all over the world. Every time this virus runs, it deletes a file, eventually leading to the forced termination of system functions and the loss of many important files, causing incalculable losses. The activities of computer viruses have caused people's panic. Although there are already many effective methods to deal with various existing computer viruses, people still vividly remember the losses caused by computer viruses and still have lingering fears. Similarly, although people have effectively controlled the spread of some viruses, due to the continuous spread of hepatitis viruses, AIDS viruses, and cancer viruses, people's fear of biological viruses is even more serious. In fact, everything has two sides, and viruses are no exception. Not all viruses have destructive or interfering effects on the system. Some computer virus designers make the virus only perform limited replication after entering the system. Then, not only does it not carry out any destructive activities, but it can also automatically perform some beneficial functions for the system. For example, some computer viruses can effectively compress large data that occupies a lot of disk space, so that the storage space of the system is increased instead. This phenomenon can also be seen in biological viruses. Although the aforementioned plasmid occupies a large amount of storage space or information resources of the cell system due to its own reproduction, in some special cases, such as when antibiotics are present, the resistance gene carried on the plasmid has an important protective effect on the host bacteria infected with the plasmid. This characteristic of plasmids has greatly promoted the development of molecular biology research. In higher organisms, transiently infected with some viruses that are harmless to the body may not cause any symptoms and are not noticed by people because they do not cause cell damage. In fact, these viruses, because they can travel between different cells and different individuals, are very likely to have the function of carrying genes of different hosts and conducting exchanges between species. Such shuttles, or transposons, have been found in plants such as corn and have promoted species evolution. Harmful viruses can also have beneficial effects on humans if properly used. For example, myeloma cells infected with tumor viruses are harmful to individuals due to uncontrolled reproduction. However, after myeloma cells are cultured and purified in vitro and fused with B lymphocytes that can secrete specific antibodies, hybridoma cells that can grow indefinitely, due to the action of tumor viruses, and continuously secrete specific antibodies can be screened out in the hybrid cells. The latter has provided and is still providing a large number of antibody preparations for clinical medical diagnosis and has played a great role in promoting the development of medical biology. It can be further predicted that when people master the virus principle and the method of controlling viruses, they can also use the characteristics of cancer viruses that can promote the self-replication of host cells to serve humans more. For example, many human cells are not easy to divide again after differentiating and maturing. When these cells are damaged, it is generally difficult to compensate. Using tumor viruses to infect some cells in a controlled and limited way to make them obtain the ability of limited reproduction, virus infection, overflow of cell memory and inherent storage space, compensatory cell division to generate new daughter cells repeat to form a cyclic cell division process. After the cells divide to a certain extent, then use the antivirus method to inactivate the tumor virus and make the newly reproduced cells differentiate. This mechanism may provide humans with an inexhaustible source of cells and even organ banks.